Let's talk about what's going down overseas, because today you've got Russia's president banning oil sales to any country that accepts a Western price cap on Russian oil. So this means that any country that agrees to the $60 price cap can no longer buy oil from Russia starting next February. If you're like, wait a second, what does this matter, right? It's basically mostly symbolic. A bunch of Western countries, including our country, including the U.S., we already don't buy oil from Russia anymore because they invaded Ukraine and waged war on a sovereign nation. As for what's going on the ground in Ukraine, serious fighting in a couple of regions there claimed by Russia, and a new warning now for people in Ukraine to be on alert for an escalation right on New Year's Eve. The energy minister says there could be an attack that would cause, in his words, maximum damage to the already battered energy grid. Matt Bradley is joining us now. Start there with what people are bracing for 4 or 5 days from now, 3 or 4 days from now. How real is the concern?
Well, this is something that President Zelensky has come up with, saying that it's possible that the Russians are going to be attacking ahead of New Year's Eve. But there's been a couple of occasions, several occasions, that we've expected to see a massive Russian bombardment of the entire country or here in Kyiv, and we haven't really seen that. The Russians have already attacked a lot of the electricity infrastructure here in Kyiv. Some of it, quite a bit of it, has been brought back online thanks to the tireless work of Ukrainian energy officials and workers who have been working 24/7 trying to keep the lights on in this city and really throughout the country. But whether or not Vladimir Putin decides to attack before New Year's Eve in order to try to ruin the holidays once again, well, that's yet to be seen because, like I said, he's been doing attacks. There's been a constant throb of attacks, mostly on the front lines, mostly in places where there's actual fighting. And for the last several weeks, we haven't seen that kind of large-scale bombardment, even after President Zelensky made that historic trip to Congress and even around Christmas time.
Talk about this price cap situation here, because we've been waiting on a response from Russia. We now have it. But as we mentioned, this feels mostly symbolic, Matt, since there aren't many Western countries who are actually getting oil from Russia right now in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, Hallie, a lot of that is going to depend on how the Russians decide to implement their decision today, because the fact is the countries that are still buying oil from Russia, like China, Turkey, and India, those are countries that are already buying under that $60 price cap, but they're not party to that ban. So if Russia decides anybody's buying oil under that $60 price cap already, even if they're just buying it because that's the price they're paying, those countries are going to be banned from buying oil. Well, that could have a major impact on global prices. We got to remember, oil is a globally traded commodity. It's a price that's set across the entire world. So it's kind of hard to target it, and that's why this whole thing has been so tricky to begin with. It's why a lot of people say a lot of these bans, these embargoes, these price caps, they're not so effective to begin with because they're trying to split the difference between trying to punish Russia without trying to punish its opponents.
Matt Bradley, live for us there in Kyiv. Matt, thank you very much, as always, for your reporting on the ground.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.